Welcome to the Fantasy Golf Bag Podcast, presented by FantasyGolfBag.com, your number one source for the most in-depth PGA Tour analysis in the daily fantasy and sports betting world. Each week, our experts will discuss everything you need to know, from the course preview and key stats to top plays, fades, and strategies. Whether golf betting, grinding out cash games, or playing for a big GPP win, our team has you covered. Let's get after it.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Fantasy Golf Bag Podcast. I am your host, Axis, and today I am joined by Sky of the Golf Gurus, here to talk a little European Tour golf. PGA is on the very brief break before the fall swing starts. So for the next couple of weeks, even into the fall swing, we're going to try to get you some European Tour content as well. And this week is the amazing Omega European Masters. If you've never seen it on TV, I suggest you find a way to at least watch some of it. I'm sure TV doesn't even do it justice. I've never been there. I need to be there. It is played in Crans, Montana, Switzerland at Crans-sur-Sierre Golf Club. Hope I pronounced that right. Very short altitude. Will be lots of eagle opportunities with some of these drivable par fours. I'm really looking forward to it. Sky, I know you love this event too. What are your quick thoughts on it?
No, first off, it's great to have these contests back for the European Tour. Awesome end to the PGA season, but these next 2 weeks get an opportunity without the PGA going on that we can focus solely on Euro, and DraftKings rewarded us as such. And, with the golf course like we're going to get to have, with the field that we're going to get to have, it's a great week to really have this pod back. So I'm looking forward to diving in.
Yeah, that was nice of DraftKings. They definitely boosted the normal Euro events. Quite the large 333 with 10K up top. And then you got the solid $10 20K up top. I say solid as in the top prize for Euro events. The payout structure I didn't even really look at. So just looking at the top prizes there, but you got $150 and $100. You got a single entry for the 100, 150 is two, but and a pretty decent $44. The club tour also 5K up top. So if you don't play
everything's
Euro,
it's about 10 times the size.
Yeah, if you're not used to playing Euro, this is not normal. So hopefully we can show that a lot of people will play Euro, and maybe they'll get some of these contests up for the rest of the season. But for now, we're going to try to take advantage. So we're going to dive right into it. I already spoke briefly about the course. I don't know if you have any news and notes you want to share on it. It is pretty short, and it's at elevation, so it plays differently, obviously, than what the yardage actually says. Fitzpatrick has won it twice in a row. I think Bjorn and Noren have also won this event twice semi-recently. I'm not looking at the list in front of me. Maybe you can correct me on that, but so I looked at course history a little more than I normally would, but really just ball striking, approach. Some guys did it around the green last year, finished pretty well. Some guys did it on the green. So it's not a course that, one particular guy or one particular set of skills has really taken over. So feel free to just cue up the tee to green, I guess. But what are your quick thoughts on the course?
First off, yep, definitely correct. Noren and Fitzpatrick and Bjorn have 2 times winners. Willett and Lipsky snuck in there with wins in 14 and 15. And even to amplify it more, so just we read this. So again, we're remembering that we are at altitude. Hole 5, 6, 7, par 4s, 364 yards, 324 yards, 331 yards. I mean, all literally drivable, it would seem, especially 6 and 7. And they say that all the par 5s are eagle opportunities as well. One of them is as short as 516. So it's good, a little bit different to kind of try to factor that in as if I'm going to weight distance at all, because it hasn't shown a ton in the past. But I mean, if you're going to give yourself chances to be around the green in 1 or 2 or green under regulation, like that's a huge benefit in my opinion. But I think I'm going to actually key in a little bit on these par 3s, as they're a little bit of the longer par 3s, 191, 175, 217, 235, an additional 195. So like it's gonna play a little bit of a factor. So I'm interested to see kind of who pops when we look at some of these more obscure stats outside of just tee to green.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like I said really briefly, some guys have done it off the tee, some have done it with approach around the green. So you can find a way around this I call it quirky golf course. Different ways to skin the cat this week. So if we start up top, the FedEx Cup champion is making his way over. Rory McIlroy is 12K. Two-time defending champ Fitzpatrick is 11-4. EVR 11-2. Fleetwood 10-9. And Matt Wallace rounds out the bottom end of the 10K range at 10.2K. So when you look at this, and I know Rory, when we did the weighted course history, we only went back to 2014. I know Rory played it before then and has done well. It's a mind state thing, I guess, with him. So I'm not really going to guess that at the moment. I'll see how we progress through the week. But does anybody stick out to you at this 10K range?
It's tough. It really is, because I don't want to sit here and say I think Rory's going to be low owned, but I think in the main $10, he is going to be lower owned than he should be, just based off of the narrative of winning, traveling there, saying he was already tired after Sunday's round. People said on Sunday night on SportsCenter that he looked like said he was tired, wasn't happy with it, but, Omega being one of his sponsors, that he had to be here. So it's interesting. But then he also was out there playing a practice round today with Timberlake, and he's already at the course. So it's not like he's showing up Thursday morning, just showing up to the tee like Brooks did after he won his first U.S. Open. It's a different type of, I think, kind of feel with Rory. And his A game, is, sorry, bear off, but it's leaps and bounds above Fitz, and Tommy's, in my opinion. So is it worth paying up that $600, maybe $1,100 with Fleetwood to get someone who's a clear, 3.5 to 1, 4 to 1 favorite when he might be a little bit lower owned because of it too? That's where I think things get interesting. If you want to do it in a single entry and play the opposite of narrative street, and you play that 333 with it, like, I kind of like it. So that's my initial, as I'm kind of floating around. I think that's like the strongest play for me, and it's just buying into people overthinking it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna make this decision like just before everything tees off, because obviously with the way Fitzpatrick's been playing of recent, two-time defending champ. He's coming off a second at the Scandinavian Invitation. He played well at the FedEx St. Jude. He took a second, I think it was BMW BMW International. So he's been on the cusp. I don't know. It's tough, but it's 11.4. Like you said, how much worse is he than Rory? So I guess that's up for you guys to decide. I haven't decided what I'm going to do up here yet. Haven't seen Wallace in a little bit. EVR coming off a huge win for him finally, even though he's young, but he had quite a few chances and hadn't really been able to figure it out. So I don't think I'm going to go back to EVR at 11.2. I think Tommy at 10.9 would probably be the other guy I would debate playing from this range.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, if I'm thinking of narratives, like, that was an emotional win for EVR. Like, you've been able to tell how crushed he's been over some lackluster Sundays over the last year. Like, finally getting through, I think that victory is more off-putting to me than Rory's in a sense. And he's not the same caliber player of Fitz and Tommy, and that's reflected in the odds. He's close to 20 to 1 in most spots, where Tommy's 12 to 1. And, priced $300 lower than EVR. So,
yeah.
And Tommy's also making the trek over from Atlanta too. So that's where I think Tommy's price, because his lackluster course history is there. So I think Rory Tommy is my thoughts there. And I'm not going to put anybody off Fitz. You really can't. His form's been excellent. His course history is, like I said, second on of just pure strokes gained field differential here behind Noren. Like, there's nothing I can say that's wrong with Fitz outside of the price.
Yeah, and you just mentioned Noren, so I'll just use that to jump down. Noren is 9.9, and then below him, Sergio, the other Rory, Sabatini. Danny Willett is 9.2, Byrne 9.1, and Man Rocket Lucas Bjerregaard is 9K, which seems absurd. So I love the guy. His play at 9, no, there'll be no Man Rocket for me this week. So if we jump back up, Noren's intriguing, I think, to some because of that course history. I will be off. I would rather play Sergio at 9.6, Sabatini at 9.4, and Willett at 9.2. And Willett is probably my favorite, having figured out this course before, and he's just playing very well for much of this year.
Yeah, I agree with you when we talked the other Rory. I think it's always interesting. We kind of had this conversation before, kind of these players that never play the European Tour and all of a sudden coming over and getting into the mix and not really having the Euro Tour only stats. Fortunately, we have the ability to look at the combined stats at FGB. And, Sabs has been playing excellent for quite some time. And when he was at the Open Championship, I know it's Links Golf, but the last time he was in Europe, he was one of, I believe, 4 or 5 guys at the Open Championship to shoot every round to 70 or better. Just sneaky excellent, and it's reflected with that price. And that's kind of my initial lean there, looking at Sabs. Like we said, it's really unfortunate Man Rocket has fallen off the absolute cliff, because this course last year ripped my heart out. We were on him at 50 to 1 or so and lost to Fitz in that playoff after Fitz nailed a couple putts. That's tough with him, but I don't know. Like, I get your interest in Willett. I think it's a wonderful price there in Willett. If I'm just picking straight one because of the price relative, like, it's definitely him. So him and Sabs would be the 1-2 for me.
Yeah, I agree. And Sabs actually I still think he's slightly underpriced in this field for how he's played all year. I think they got him closer to correct than when we get down to Troy Merritt, who's also PGA Tour regular, hopping over here kind of randomly for this event, but I think they got his price way wrong. So, yeah, I think in the 9K range for me, Garcia, Willett. I could definitely play Sabatini though too. I just don't think I'll have the opportunity to play a bunch of these guys. But yeah, as we jump down, so Thomas Peters comes in at 8.9, Lee Westwood is 8.8. Pavon 8.7, Juiced 8.6, and Mike Lorenzo Vera is 8.5. So if we just want to talk about these 5 really quick, because it's the upper 8K, they kind of split it in half nicely. Lorenzo Vera kind of jumped out at 8.5 with his form has been decent, especially off the tee, but he's played very well at this course in the past too, and that really jumped off the page.
Yeah, it's an intriguing mix with those 5 there, because, like you said, I think MLV, obviously he missed the cut at the Open Championship after he was coming hot fire. Great here last year, really struggled on one hole. I remember him hitting it under a tree last year. He was leading late last round, like was right there in the mix. Westwood, I don't know. I just never find myself playing him. So for me, it's another one coming off probably somewhat of an emotional win a little bit and very bad history here. But I like Peters again. Like his ball striking at the check too.
Yeah.
Like the guy, I'm double checking here as I'm about to say it, but I don't think he was gained on the greens in his victory a couple weeks ago. So if you look here, he was gaining check strokes gained. Yeah, he was basically field average, negative 0.055 in a victory.
Yeah.
He gained over 4 strokes per round ball striking at the check. Unbelievable.
I mean, even throughout his missed cuts, yeah, he's just been crushing the ball. He had that little streak of missed cuts with the Irish Open, U.S. Open, and the Belgian, but other than that, he's been crushing the ball all year.
And if I'm going to take that lean of factoring in a little bit of the course play with distance, of someone who can just smash it off the tee and get close on those par 4s and get there on those par 5s, like looking at the other guys around him, he's the one who's going to really do that and give you that scoring upside. That's the one key difference, kind of that weighted birdie or better. So if you look like for someone like that side of things, that's where I lean of that top 5. I don't have a ton of interest really in any of the other ones. MLV would be my second, though.
Yep, for sure. So we'll jump down. Sullivan, Gavin Green, Eddie Pepperell, 8.2, Dietrich, 8.1, and Beef is at 8K. I guess Christian Bezengoat is also at 8K. I'm not even going to say the last name this time. So So again, yeah, just looking at this range, I don't want to say it was a dead zone for me for where lineups were falling, but I really like Dietrich again, and I like Beef this week as well. Just riding the iron play over the last 20 rounds for both of them. I think Dietrich's second in this field. Again, European field, he's not better with the irons than Rory. Let's not get that misconstrued. So, but then Beef also has found it in his last 3 to 4 events. So, and he's played well here also.
Those are my 1-2. Yep, it would be Beef 1 and D3 2 for me. And Beef's been, again, hot fire as of late. Really got to see a little bit of emotional side of him. What I think it was at the Irish or Scottish, one of those two right before. Just seems to be in a better mental space, than he was, struggling really hard the year prior. He's got a 3rd place here. So he's just someone I think is a pretty generous price for the talent level there. Dietrich, again, he's someone who also hasn't shown success here. Miscut. So those Belgian boys, if you go Peters, Dietrich, kind of plug your nose to that course history. But their mentality or their game sets up great for it, in my opinion there. And then I'm actually a little interested. He's kind of fallen by the wayside, but man, Eddie was probably about $1,500 more expensive like 4 weeks ago, before when he was coming back a little. I guess probably, was he that high when he came back from injury? I feel like after he had that great finish where he almost pulled through for you, and then I felt like he was close to 10K like the next week.
I don't remember what he was at the Scottish, but I'm sure he was near the top coming off that T4 in Ireland. But aside from that T4 in Ireland, since coming back from the injury, he really has been very middling to poor. Not even, he missed the cut.
He made the cut. Which I understand with his game, like not fitting there. But I don't know. It's just interesting to see him like priced next to, Gavin Green, like when he wasn't priced,
it is
probably
odd.
Between like Wallace and Noren in a standard field. So,
long term, I'd say, down here he probably pops a little more, but it's that recent form that's dragging that price down. So,
yep.
So, I'm with you on Beef and Dietrich. Pretty much from that range are my 2 favorites. And then, so when we jump into this next range, it starts getting interesting with a lot of guys that we've liked playing all year, whether it's Bobby Mack. For those who don't know, that's Robert McIntyre at 7.8K. Jorge Campillo is 7.8K. Audrey Arnaud 7.6K. And as I mentioned earlier, Troy Merritt is 7.9K. I view this similar, not the same golfer, but similar to when we were talking the Irish Open. I think Answer was 8K or 7.8 or somewhere, and I think they just got him wrong as far as, he might just be an average PGA player, but that actually boosts him up quite a bit if he was playing the European Tour. So I don't know how he will handle this elevation, although he just took second at an elevated course. Was that during the British Open, or was that during WGC St. Jude week?
Yep.
So he took second in some elevation, so it's not like it's completely foreign to him. I think Merritt at 7.9 is kind of a solid deal. And then, if you don't mind zero course history here. And then Bobby Mack's the intriguing one with his ball striking too. That is not what has let him down recently. That'd be the putter, which he was putting pretty well to start the year. So, but 7.8 seems like quite the discount to what we were starting to have to pay for him.
Yeah, it's very in line with kind of us. I think you hit the nail on the head with Bobby Mack. And again, he came in, he missed the cut right before the Open Championship when he topped 6th. He's had some bounce backs, and every single week he's right there in ball striking. It's just getting hot on the greens. And, at 7,800, are you going to take that chance? I don't mind it with the type of caliber we've seen at his ceiling. I do really like Troy Merritt, and we bring it back to kind of the extended approach stats that we've launched on FGB recently, and we played Merritt quite a bit at the first round of the BMW Championship. I think in the FedEx playoffs there when he came out was the first round leader. The dude is a pin seeker. So we talk about weighted birdie or better, giving yourself those chances. I love that with Merritt. So 7,900, I think that's very fair to get there with him. And then, I mean, we dipped a little bit, 7,600. That I was very, very, very disappointed to see Audrey come back last week and just be abysmal after he was so good going neck to neck with Peters. So that's the thing about Euro golf. Like, you literally have to forget about it, because you could think someone was the best iron player in the world the week prior, which he was, and then, you literally wake up Thursday morning and he's dead. Like, that you can't even, your lineup's 5 of 6 now. So, like, it was very difficult with that, but it seems like another amazing fit there. Did we get down into 7,500? Did you want to talk through those guys, or did you leave them off right now? Because there's, I think you'll probably see him on the card this week, just kind of due to the being around the leaderboard the last couple of weeks and his course history here. Ashen Wu. He's 200 to 1, so I don't love the DraftKings price relative to some kind of those around him, but I think the 200 to 1 is a bit generous out there, so I think we'll bet on that one.
Oh wow, yeah, I was waiting for that number because I think he was much lower when he opened at a few others I was looking at, so I didn't pull the trigger there yet. Yeah, and then Surrey at 7.5. He's been playing so poorly though.
So poorly. I don't understand.
I don't either. He was
the best player on the European Tour for like a 6-week stretch.
Oh yeah.
Him and Dubé Sun was too, and now he's 7,400. Like,
yeah, him.
It's wild.
Jorge, they all had that run there.
Yeah, Jorge too.
It's crazy. 7 point. I honestly can't do it either. I saw the price. I was like, oh my god, like I love playing. And then I went.
How about Jordan Smith? He was another one.
Yeah.
Getting $7,600 Jordan Smith, like, it's crazy to think that you would have. Oh, man.
But I mean, Southgate and Zanotti are two that I could definitely add to the player pool. Do the ball striking, and Zanotti has pretty solid course form here as well. Yeah, he started jumping down to Victor Perez, another ball striking guy, been hitting the ball well all year. Top 20 last week, I believe you said.
Yeah, I think I got into the top 10 actually.
Oh wow!
I really like him.
I mean, I'm trying to just jump down now. Like, there are some very playable guys down. You start getting down this cheap, obviously, if you're not accustomed to Euro. This is the real, this is the territory where your guy shoots 5 under round 1. You wake up on Friday morning and he shot 10 over to miss the cut. So, I mean, all these guys are very capable. They're just all very inconsistent. Like, I play a lot of Scrivener just because of the irons, and Oliver Wilson got me last week with the MDF. Decided to shoot +7 in round 3 to MDF, so that was awesome. I mean, is there anybody else down here in the upper 7s you found yourself attracted to this week for the player pool?
I think LeVay has came back a little bit from what he used to be incredibly talented. He's finally gained over a stroke per round tee to green the last 2 events. So he's, from a talent perspective, I think he's there. But I probably don't see it. You mentioned Southgate, just kind of a little bit of interest there, but I don't. I'm trying to go.
I just realized Luke Donald's in this field. I have no interest.
Yeah.
But,
no, he was the other one. Oh, what about? I guess we're kind of getting a little bit into the lower ones. I noticed you were on him last week in kind of your MME a little bit. Sean Kim.
Yeah.
Any interest there? He top 5 last week.
Yeah, he actually showed up. That's why I was so pissed about Oliver MDFing in round. That really cost me a lot of money. But yeah, it was. I was looking for someone cheap. I forget his price last week. He was in the 6s though, and of those guys, the weighted GIR was there. He had been hitting the ball well all year, and I could get back there potentially this week. I didn't highlight him though to start because I jumped a little lower to our boy Guido, who decided to make his glorious return to the tour after a couple week hiatus. at 6.8K, like, yeah, sorry, Kim, take a back seat. Guido's back.
Yeah. I mean, I'm jamming Guido
Wow.
in lineups.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, like a picture perfect course. You're talking about.
He is made for DraftKings. Go big or go home. Miss the cut or
absolutely.
get first. Not going to fuck around with 45th place.
Walk around again, having him like. I mean, like he did practice on his putting. We told Baroff we were going to say this on the pod that we saw him on Instagram practicing his putting over the last month. He said he's going to really grind on the greens. Very important he did that. I think he also went and partied in Ibiza for a little bit too.
Oh, he sure did.
I don't blame him. He's got his lady with him this week.
He's got 2 winning checks from this year. Go spend it.
Absolutely. So it's great to have him back. The European Tour is better with Guido in our lives.
Oh yeah.
So
all joking aside, he is a ball striking god, and if you're making multiple lineups, he's worth throwing in a few. He very well may miss the cut. Like, I'm not pretending that isn't a very likely outcome for him as well, but it's him getting in the top 10 is also a likely outcome.
Yeah, so for reference, for those doubting or not familiar with him, so if you look at just strokes gained ball striking on the European Tour this season, you're going to see Guido in this field 4th. Sergio, Ross Fisher, Joust Luton, and then Guido, and then Scrivener. And you look here at the prices relative to them, 9,600, 7,500, 8,600, then Guido, 68. Again, why you continue to go back to Scrivener, 7,200.
Yeah.
You don't see anybody in the 6s until 18th, which is Sean Crocker. Like it is his game is unbelievable if he can get a putter.
I mean, he's unbelievably bad at putting too. Like, I can't not say that.
Oh, he is worse in the field.
Like,
worse in the field, losing over a stroke and a quarter per round.
Like, you watch these PGA guys and tilt, like, just wait.
Yeah. Like, it's better that we don't have Shot Tracker.
No, it really is, because, oh my gosh. But
it wouldn't survive.
Oh my God, it's so glorious, though, when they start rolling in, and he's beating his chest in the middle of the fairway, hitting it. Oh.
So, I like quite a bit of people down here, honestly. I think that Jamie Donaldson's in play. At 7,200, he's shown some life the last 2 weeks. Very good off the tee. So if we see here, Donaldson, he's gained 1.6 at Scandinavia. He gained almost last 3 events. He has been over a stroke and a half per round tee to green. So, and it's come a lot with the irons. So I do like seeing that. And then Xander Lombard was another one I wanted to bring up. Xander Lombard, he led tee to green last week. He was in check 2 weeks ago. He was top 10 tee to green. And I think he finished top 20 both times. I think he was like 11th, or he was 11th, 16th maybe. 16th, 11th. So I like him. And then, do you have any interest in Sam Horsfield?
No, not really. I guess down here, another name that, we played him a couple of weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago. Hugo Leon, the ball striking is still there. I mean, I'm kind of just spitballing some 6K guys that I highlighted really quick. It's kind of like fill-in guys, but he was one of the few that off the tee and the irons were still of recent form solid.
Yep. No, I would 100%. Like, if I'm looking there at ball striking guys, if we're looking in that low 7s, upper 6s, like we mentioned, I'm in on Scrivener. You talked about Scrivener, Xander Lombard. You go into Guido. You go into.
I mean, if you want to go really low, we played him last week with Baroff, was Ricardo Guevara. I hope I'm pronouncing that last name right. I think
he MDF'd on Thursday. But he was up there.
I mean, but for 62K, I mean, the irons are there over his last 20 rounds was the point. Like, you're, again, he's very likely to miss the cut. But for 6.2K, if you're trying to jam in Rory with somebody else, I guess is my point. But you can get back to Horsfield. I keep cutting you off on him.
No, he's been a birdie menace the last 2 weeks. If we kind of looked at that weighted birdie or better over the last 2 tournaments, which we show on FGB there, let's kind of look at just 2 tournament stretch. Horsfield is 4th in that fifth in that weighted birdie or better there, just the last tournament. So he's finished 10th and third. And he's 100 to 1 and he's 6,700 when like Wade Ormsby's 200 to 1 there. And I've seen Horsfield like closer to like 75 to 1 too. So he's probably the only one under 7K that is in the double digits, underneath 100 to 1. So yeah. I think he's intrigued by that because you could look. Kinholt at 7,700 is the next lowest guy when we're talking about pure odds. So $1,000 higher is the next person tied with odds and opening 365 in that relative to DK price.
Yeah, crazy.
So I think that's kind of a huge misprice there, and he's been playing birdie. So like you go Guido Horsfield, that's not as bad to jam in Rory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. I don't know how far down I'll be dipping, but I really can't stomach naming too many other guys. So
I was just gonna look at like weighted course history just to see if there's anybody way down here. The leader, he's only played here once. Was
Scott Hend would probably be the guy down there, but he's been
that would be the guy.
He's been so bad. He's played so well here, but he's playing awful golf right now.
It's crazy he won an event this year.
Indeed. I think, what does he miss? 5 straight cuts? 4? I don't have it pulled up, but he's been bad.
Oh, he got 71st last week.
Oh, okay. Good for him.
So 71st, miscut, 39th. But yeah, 45th, second. I think he lost in a playoff both those years. But the more I look at that, the Ashton Wu 200 to 1. I'm going to double check to make sure that's out there because that's what it was in opening odds. But yeah, I like that one quite a bit. But
I'm not sure he's there anymore, to be honest.
So 365.
But I don't ever look at 365, to be honest, either. So he's 110 on Sportsbook. I think he's 125 on Bovada. 110 other places.
150. 150 on my bookie.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of action. So
yeah, I still think the 150 is generous too. With
I'd roll the dice on it. It's on an outright and maybe T5 if you're looking for action that way. But
yeah, but I much like that compared to 7,500. Is there any other bets? I know you mentioned you hit a couple head-to-heads.
Let's see. The only bet I posted, I didn't even post it to Twitter yet. I posted it to the Fantasy Golf Bag Slack, but I took Fleetwood over Fitz, fading that course history at plus 125. It's definitely no longer available, so I wouldn't bet that anymore. I think it's minus 105. I've seen minus 110, depending on your book, I guess. But I wouldn't bet that anymore. Other than that, nothing really jumped out. I did bet Willett at 28 to 1. I feel like there's someone else I'm missing that I bet. Guido, obviously, at what did we get, 225?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Willett. I bet somebody at 4. I bet somebody at 50. Oh, I bet Lorenzo Vera at 50.
Oh yeah, that's who it was. Mm-hmm.
So those are the only 4. I'm gonna bet Woo. I feel like I thought I did earlier. Guess not. Guess I'm getting a shit number on Woo, but I'm gonna toss a few dollars on Woo. Why not?
I think ones that I'm gonna go with initially here, and again, this is more like deeper plays. Beef. I like Beef at 80 to 1. Donaldson's 175. This is more kind of like a top 10. Victor Perez 125. And obviously we hit Guido, and then we talked about Wu 2. So those are 4. And then I might take a stab at one more shorter guy there, but that's kind of where I'm aligning initially.
What'd you say you got Beef at?
Again, I'm just looking at what's posted on our FGB site here, which was 80 to 1. He is
lower now, unfortunately. I kind of was debating pulling the trigger on him. He showed a little bit of value for me. I might be able to shop around. I really haven't been digging on the outrights too much.
I don't think he was listed initially in odds, and that was an add-in. So he's not on my bookie right now. I'm going to have to do double check. Sportsbook, you said he's quite a bit lower.
I see him at 70 at Bookmaker.
Well, it's not horrible. I would still pull the trigger on 70.
But,
that's on Bovada or Sportsbook?
Bookmaker. He's 60 at the other two.
Okay.
So 60 would be cutting it close for me. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I like I said, I have to run a few more things with some numbers. I was trying to run through all the head-to-heads first because those are the lines that shift quicker on me. So I always try to run through those. I still got to do some, but those will be posted in the Fantasy Golf Bag Slack chat first, as always. Eventually, they will make their way to Twitter. And then all the stats we've been referencing throughout today, you can also get at Fantasy Golf Bag. And if you only want to buy European stats, the European Tour side of things for the remainder of the year, you can do that too. Or you can get a combined package, which would be the wisest decision you'll make. You know, treat yourself. Christmas is coming up. You know, it's not too far away. Enjoy a little gift to yourself.
Amen.
So.
Amen. No, I'm all aboard that. No, I think this is.
I mean, we got some pretty heavy Euro events coming up. A couple more Rolex before we get into the final 3 Rolex events of the year. So it's.
No, I'm in. I completely agree with you. And it's for those who want to tune in and enjoy a different style of watching golf on TV. Like, you often hear kind of complaints or kind of repetition of what continues to happen every week on the PGA Tour. I think this is an excellent week to dive in, have your morning coffee on Thursday, Friday. You see there right before you go into work, you get the beautiful views. It's going to get a lot more coverage actually on Golf Channel because we're not going to be conflicting with anything else. So it's a phenomenal week. And then again, you also have the championship of the Corn Ferry Tour as well, which I think will be interesting to follow and see hopefully some names pop into the top 25 for us to hammer hard during swing season.
Yeah. Just get acclimated now. Just get acclimated now because the BMW PGA Championship's coming up, and that'll be another pretty star-studded field for the European Tour side. And then you get the Dunhill Links, which is always awesome. You get some St. Andrews views in there. And then the Italian Open. I mean, imagine Guido winning a Rolex Series event in his home country.
I mean, we're probably going to have to be there.
Oh,
if he's there, like middle of Saturday, we'll find a red eye.
I'll be on a 10-hour flight there, or whatever the fuck it is from Michigan. Get me there.
Yep.
I mean, it'll pay off because if he's in contention, that ticket we'll pay for the flights. So not too worried. All right, Sky, thanks for joining me. Hopefully everybody can take a little bit of information from all of the Guido love that we've been spreading throughout the podcast and Twitter. We do kind of know what we're talking about sometimes. So. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and good luck this week.